good morning, good afternoon or good evening, depending on where you are in the world. If you like this little channel, then don't forget to subscribe, hit the like button and hit that bell button as well, so that we can notify you of any more little videos that we're going to launch. The idea behind these little videos is basically to just let you know the basics of various things such as immigration, such as the purchase of property or land. And that's what we're going to focus on today. We're going to focus on property or land. So I'm not professing to be an expert in this area, but having bought some 17 pieces of land and one condominium, I've got an idea of how it works. Also, I've been here for almost 14 years. And trust me, I've heard the stories, okay? And I just giggle sometimes. And some of those stories actually come from the attorneys. And these are the people that are supposed to be advising and helping us. All right. So, first of all, can we make it quite clear, and there are people out there who are going to want to argue with me immediately, foreigners cannot own land. I'll say it again, foreigners cannot own land. Okay? Now, there's all sorts of ways and clever ways where attorneys are going to tell you how you get round the fact that you cannot own land. All of them are illegal. Okay, now what I would say to you is that you possibly would get away with it. So let me give you an example of a friend of mine who said to me one day, he's met this amazing attorney and he told him that put the land in the girlfriend's name, then get a special power of attorney which allows the foreigner to sell the land and bank the proceeds at any time in the future. Well, yeah, and I actually asked him, I said, did the attorney not mention the anti-dummy law? Google anti-dummy law, which basically, in a nutshell, is if you found a way of getting round some of the laws and regulations, then you can be prosecuted under the anti-dummy law. Now, the attorney, if he understands anything about it, because from my experience, half of them don't know what you're talking about if you mention anti-dummy law, the attorney might say to you, well, yeah, but that's rarely used. Yeah, okay. Well, it's not his neck that's going in the noose. So, unfortunately, what tends to happen in places like the Philippines is that people are happy to boast and brag about how they managed to, break a law. They got round it because the marvellous attorney said this and told them to do that. Please be clear, foreigners cannot own land, okay? It is reserved solely for the Filipinos, okay? The people who are citizens of this land. Now, something you will see when you go out to buy land, and this does make me giggle, right? You will see tax deck ready for titling. Ooh, that sounds easy, doesn't it? Now, yeah. Well, let me tell you, there's a risk in buying land. Full stop. Whether it's titled or it's tax deck, but it's calculated that tax deck is actually 9 times greater in terms of risk. So I'm going to give you an example. I've learned the hard way many times. I wasn't anything to do really with the purchase of the land other than I provided the money. But let me tell you that I bought a piece of land up in San Vicente, big piece of land, and tax deck ready for titling. That person sold it to my knowledge, at least one other person in the same week. Maybe 2 other people. I know of one, okay, because that one has occupied the land. They've occupied the land, but they failed to title it. We titled it. So, in view of the pandemic and everything that's associated with it, we've not been in too urgent need to sort that one out. But that's a piece of land, tax deck, that was sold to 2 people at the same time. We titled it, they have failed to title it, and now they're going to have, at some point, they're going to have a big problem. So, if you see the words tax deck, you are possibly going to buy a lot of problems and complications. So, titled, yeah? Now, if you buy a titled piece of land, as a friend of mine did in Siquijor quite recently, I said to him, what checks did you do? And he said to me, well, he said, I got a copy of the owner's title deed. And I'm like, please tell me you did a little bit more. Well, no, I got a copy of the owner's title deed. I said, that's worth nothing. It's not worth anything. It's not even worth the paper it's printed on, really. He said, what do you mean? I said, because when a piece of land is titled, there are 2 title deeds. One goes to the owner and one goes in the vault. Okay, it goes in a vault at the DTI, I think it is, Department of Trade and Industry. Anyway, it goes in a vault. That's the master title deed. So if ever there's a mortgage or a lien or something taken out on that piece of land, yeah, it'll be recorded on the master title deed, not the owner's title deed. All right, so be very, very, very clear. And you know, again, another bad example, because it happened to me, learnt the hard way. You know, bought a piece of land, drove past it one day. It wasn't in my name, can't be in my name, it was in my wife's name, Filipina. Drove past it one day to find that there was a little house on it. And when prompted, we asked the security guard, and he told us the new owner of this land is. So what did I do? I went and got a copy of the main title deed, the master title deed. And sure enough, attached to the back of it there's a lady there who's attached a lot of documents saying that she lost her owner's title deed when she was in Europe in 2010. Well, I knew that was a lie because we bought it in 2009. So we had the owner's title deed in 2009. So I cited her for a case of perjury. Yeah, she lied under oath in court. She said obviously she'd lost something that she'd never had. Cut the story short, I won, and it cost her quite a lot of money for me to drop the perjury case. So if you see those words, tax deck, ready for titling, trust me, it means nothing. Now, what can you do as a foreigner here? Well, you could form a corporation, form a company, which there must be 5 directors, and you could be one of them, and you could control 40% of it, and the other 60% is Filipinos, and you could buy your land and put it in that corporation if you required. Condo, you can own it 100% because you actually don't own anything. It's just the airspace inside some bricks, basically, that you're buying. But you can 100%, and people will tell you, oh yeah, about the 60-40 rule. Well, okay, let's cover it quickly. If there are 100 condos in that block, you could buy up to 40 of them if you want, if you've got a lot of money to spare, and the other 60 must remain in Filipino ownership. House, can you build a house? Yeah, you can actually. You can't own the land, let's be clear about that, but there's nothing to stop you getting somebody to buy the land, yeah, and then you rent that land off them for say 25 years. So you rent that land off them, you build a house, and at the end of the 25 years, that house unfortunately is no longer yours. It never was yours really, but it will go to the person you rented the land off. You know, well, a lot of us are like old like me. I'm 64 years of age, so you know, if I bought and had a 25-year lease, takes me through to the age of almost 90. I'd probably be quite happy with that. And sometimes you can put clauses in that allow you to renew. You know, maybe for another 25 years, which takes you way past the age of life expectancy. So yeah, that's it. Don't let anybody tell you that you can buy land as a foreigner. You can't. Listen to all those clever little arguments as to how you can do it and how you can get through it or round it. Have a look at the anti-dummy law. Just Google anti-dummy law Philippines. And if you've enjoyed this little chat, please remember to like, subscribe, and hit the bell. Thank you.